Guys, I'm taking you offshore on the jet ski. We're gonna do a little punch off mission. I'm gonna keep it super simple. I'm gonna do some voiceovers. I'm gonna show you guys what we're rocking with. And guys, we get into something really special on this one, so don't go anywhere. I gotta go pick up my buddy Scott on the beach, and I'm taking you guys with me. Let's go. All right, you guys, welcome underwater and welcome to the voiceovers. Now I'm going to jump right into it and kind of show you what I'm rocking with. That giant thing in front of me is called a drift sock, and the reason I have it is because it keeps the wind from pulling my jet ski along the surface. So it kind of just stays in one place, and then I have the flashers attached to it, and they drape down, pulling hopefully some pelagics, and I'm literally making my first drop right here. There's like almost no time between when I jumped in, did a little quick breathe up, and then went ahead and made a drop. Now I don't see a whole lot on this first drop. I go down, kind of looking off in the distance, seeing a little bit of some parrotfish. There's actually a nice yellowtail off in the distance, and I kind of try to close my gap on it. There's some barracudas around, but really not a whole lot worth shooting. But like I said, yellowtail are really tough. You can see them kind of scooting away at the end. But this is like my first drop, kind of a warm-up dive, going to like almost 50 feet. But as I head to the surface, we end up deciding to switch gears a little bit and go to an area a little bit deeper. And I'm really happy we did that. Hello, yellowtail. So after we made a couple of drops on that one spot, the reason we went deeper was, because we didn't see a whole lot, but it was so worth it. You see the life just start popping off, and you'll see that those are crevalles. Unfortunately, we don't really shoot them. They have a really thick bloodline, and the meat is very bloody. So there's not a whole lot you could do, but just seeing this much life is insane. And it almost doesn't look real as I'm making this drop, and the fact that there's so many of them. And I mean, even though they're the wrong species, there always could be African pompano or another type of fish in the jack family cruising around with them. And that's actually what happens on this dive. I go down looking around. Scott ends up going down looking with me, and something that's really funny, I don't know if you could see it on Scott, but on our way out to the spot, Scott, one of his fins dropped off the jet ski. So I actually made this drop on using one fin, and we just take turns, whoever's using two fins and whoever is basically mono finning. So I'll explain this in a minute, but yeah, this dive was unbelievable, the amount of life we just saw. Well, it's unreal. I saw a big AJ, but they're out of season. So you see, as I put my head back in the water, the fish just do not stop cruising by, and they're like this the entire time. And now I'm rocking the two fins. I'm gonna go down, and we're in probably like almost 100 feet of water right here, and the visibility is unbelievable. I mean, the DJI does a good job of really making it look more visible than it is. But as I go down, Scott ended up taking a shot. I wasn't positive he shot, and then he starts grunting at me. I actually thought he missed because I thought he just kind of shot, but as I realized, I was like, holy crap, he just shot a fish. So I just start booking it his direction, and before I even get there, he dropped his gun, has his gun on a belt reel, just because he needed help getting to the surface.
Where'd you shoot? Never been. All right. Rip him up.
And at this whole time, I totally forgot that he is rocking just one fin, and that's why he needs so much help.
Are you gonna need more? I need help.
So I start grabbing the line, I start pulling.
Yeah. Here, you want to? Here.
And I thought he was going to get completely spooled, but the fish is still on there. It is absolutely pulling. I can just feel the tail kicks on the line, and luckily he's gone out, and I'm just waiting for the line to get hung up on the wreck. So I start pulling, and all of a sudden I hit dead weight, and I know exactly what that means. Either it's sharked, or a Goliath grouper got it, or it got hung up in the wreck. And then all of a sudden it just goes completely limp, and I know that the fish is off of the spear. But whatever it was, you'll find out here in a minute what it was, because we end up seeing it whenever I take a shot on a fish, so stay tuned for that. And sure enough, here's all the life, here's everything cruising around, but we have to go ahead and spool all our line and get everything organized and then make another drop. But we definitely talk about it a little bit at the surface on what happened. But yeah, he shot an absolute monster, and we just weren't able to fight it and put the brakes on quick enough for the predators to stay away from the fish. So if you can keep the predators off the fish and horse them up, do it. But like I said, he was running out of air on that drop.
He either tore off or got sharked. Dude, that thing was monster. Yeah, it was huge. It had to be, because I was fighting it and I was like, doo. Oh my God.
So we go ahead and reset, and this is kind of a funky drop. You'll see me drop, and then I end up not being positive if my DJI was on, and then so I went ahead and turned it back on, and I don't know, just kind of got a little messed up. And so you'll see this kind of dive in two parts. It's not fully accurate on the dive time, but I go ahead and make a drop. Countdown timer is gonna go ahead and start, and this is just a blind drop. I don't see anything from the surface. And then I decide to shut off my GoPro, and right as I do, a permit shows up, and I'm gonna make sure I made a really good shot on this fish. Absolutely rolled him, but it was funny, as I start bringing him to the surface, something starts following it up, and sure enough, and I'm not like rushing to the surface, but you can see that little thing. Yeah, I'm pointing to Goliath grouper, and I know exactly what got Scott's permit the dive before.
That's how it's done. Bro, the Goliath was following him up.
Dude, mine got Goliath.
Yeah, 100%.
Is that the only one you saw?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. Hell yeah. Hey, take my fin and stay close, because I'm gonna gut this guy.
So as always, love, no matter what fish it is, like to bleed, brain, gut every fish, just to make sure we have not a huge bloodline, and that we have that we also have perfect quality meat. And whenever I'm diving like this, you know, if I can't get that spear through, I just go ahead and string it all the way through, go ahead and throw the fish in the jet ski, and then just pull the line out the other side, and it just slips right out. Honestly, like, I was thinking about feeding the spear through and all that stuff, and I'm like, you know what, let me just go ahead and disconnect my gun. I have a little snap swivel there. But the main thing is, when you do this, make sure you grab a hold of your shaft. You need to make sure you have your shaft, otherwise, once you let that undo that line, this shaft can just fly off, and then once you get it through the fish, hook it right back on your snap swivel immediately. That way, if you do drop your shaft, it's secured by something and it doesn't just go to the bottom. I have lost, I think, maybe 2 or 3 spears just by carelessness of not securing the shaft before I disconnect it from the gun, because once that shaft just goes before you know it. Alright, you guys, we are having some luck. It is absolutely beautiful out here, a ton of life. Those huge crevalles are just insane to see underwater. But we got that permit. That was a nice, sweet little drop I did, and I didn't stone him, but I did spine him, and I'll take it. And you saw that Goliath following up. Scott shot one just before that, way bigger, and we think it got Goliath. It was out of sight, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But we're gonna dive into this mango, rosy gold, and Scott's gonna give me a. Oh. All right, mango test time. This is a rosy gold. Oh, that's good.
Pretty good.
Not bad. Dude, super early variety. Whoa! Almost lost it. So this is honestly the dive of the day, and it's not necessarily what I got on the dive, it's shortly after. So I'm just making a blind drop. There's a little bit of structure on the bottom. I do have both fins, which is great because you'll see why in just a minute, and you're actually going to learn a lot from this clip. And I'm going to talk you through it the best I possibly can. I make a quick drop, going down, looking at the structure, and then I hear Scott shoot. He shoots here just a minute. You'll see my head start bouncing around. I'm just kind of scanning around, looking, and then I think it's like right here. Scott shoots, and I'm like looking at the surface thinking he shot a wahoo. As I headed up, I saw he shot a mahi. And when I saw the one mahi, I know there's got to be a school of more than just one. So I immediately took my flasher off my belt reel. I have like a little like throw flasher PVC pipe. Throw it immediately, but the problem is I threw it too soon and wasn't ready to dive. And they came in, checked it out, and then just scooted out of there. But that, I know it's not over. The game isn't over. I went ahead and got the flasher. But I can see they're a little weary, and I see them go off to the left in that direction. So I went ahead and threw my flasher, swam directly to it, and just kept an eye on the flasher. And as I did that, sure enough, here comes one, and then I see the face of other ones, and I don't make a duck dive. I just blow out all the air in my lungs, get underneath the water, and just pull the trigger on the biggest bull of the whole school, which I'm so stoked about. This is a good fish, and I'm not putting a ton of pressure on him. I don't want to yank it out to where, you know, the barb disengages, because I know Scott just shot, so he can't put a backup shot immediately. There's a ton of schoolies around, but I just let this fish do its thing. I let him dangle. If there's a shark, 100% I'm gonna rip him straight up. But I just kind of baby this fish. I don't want it to tear out. I don't want him to freak out and, you know, the barb close. There was a cuda cruising around, and he was kind of looking at him, but it wasn't a big cuda, so I didn't pay him any attention. If it was a bigger cuda, I know he would have taken a bite. And Scott asked for if I need a backup shot, but I said it's probably pretty good. He just needs to tire out just a second. I get a little organized, and Scott kind of is like, I got my fish. I'm just going to string him up.
Look, you want me to... No, I think I got him. I just need to let him tire out a little bit.
And just to be safe, more safe than sorry, I'm always a big fan of backup shots. He goes ahead, loads one band, makes a quick drop, and gets another backup shot on this fish just to make sure we fully secure it. I don't like to take chances. I've had too many crazy situations where fish get away. So he just went ahead, did a secure shot. It's really maybe adds like a tiny minute inconvenience to, you know, take off your spear and get him out. But that is a solid mahi. I'm absolutely stoked. This is my first mahi off the jet ski, and I couldn't be more excited. And I absolutely love mahi. They're the best, some of the best eating, and I love to hunt them. For sure, I'm just absolutely stoked on this fish.
I haven't caught one like that in a minute.
That's the one I was supposed to shoot.
Bro, I heard you shoot. I looked around and I saw your mahi. I was like, oh, there's got to be more. And so I threw my flash and they came right in.
That was the first one I saw, and then I thought this one was solo, and then the big boys came in as soon as I got there.
This was the biggest one I saw out of them all. Woo, dude, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Woo! Mahi on the ski, baby! Woo! Woo! That's so sick.
You guys, I was not expecting this at all. I made a drop to see, on my way up, Scott shot. And I turned around, I was trying to find him steam like if he was level. I looked at the surface. This dude shot a mahi, and then I turned around and I threw my flasher, and this beautiful mahi came in. I lined up the shot, the whole school of them came in. I picked the biggest one. A little bull, I don't know if it's a cow, I think it's a bull-esque. But dude, these things are my favorite eating. So we're gonna head in, I'm gonna clean this guy up, and I'm taking you with me. Let's get after it. I'm so stoked. You guys, that was absolutely wild that we got onto the mahi, the permit,
all offshore. It was a badass adventure. But now we are gonna head in to the boat ramp. I'm gonna do a little bit of filleting, just show you guys how to fillet these mahi and a little special trick. And then I'm gonna take it home and I'm gonna cook you guys up something fantastic and also simple, so don't go anywhere. Let's get after it.
All right, little trick. These guys, I basically outlined this entire thing. Yeah, I better not mess up the meat on this because I love these. So the meat comes all the way up into the head. You go straight down, you flip the knife, cut inside out.
I have to talk louder because those leaf blowers.
Yeah. Turn the knife inside out, cut all the way up the top of it. You don't want to cut, you want to cut right along the top of that fin.
Oh wait, hold up, I got you, I'll send you this. Hey Meta, I don't have them on, hang on. I got
I do the same thing here. Alright, then you get this little point where the skin is, you just grab it and peel it. If you need help, do a little hole, stick your finger in.
Hey Meta, start recording.
Oh, that's cool. Do you like doing it this way?
Peeling it?
Yeah.
Yeah. People say they don't like the fibers that are like left on it, but I don't mind it at all.
I don't think it's detrimental, and it's safe. It's a way easier.
By the time you cook it, like I feel like
Yeah,
if you do like ceviche or something, I skin it, but if you cook it, yeah, I just peel it like that.
You have to get some Meta glasses, bro. You'll use it for all your content.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Like if you're out on the boat, like when we're out there on the title, like came in to turn on, start recording, and boom, it's just
Hands
on.
free.
Yeah, that's cool.
So like I'm walking down like a bank of water, so you can just turn it on when I see water.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not going. It's not going. It's probably a big factor. There we go. And it goes like that.
We'll use that clip.
We'll use that. All right, and then you do it like a normal fillet, or normal cutting the fish off the bone, except you don't have to worry about filleting it afterwards, and it's a beautiful thing. And I'm making this pristine because we don't get mahi too much, especially spearing out here. Oh, this is looking good.
This is what the people want to see.
There we go. Beautiful mahi fillet. We'll clean that up when we get home. But yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Beautifulness. And cut. And scene. And guys, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm actually gonna give you a rundown of how I process this thing from the beginning to the end, including packaging and freezing and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and start. I'm gonna grab a couple of fillets. And this is the permit, and I'm gonna just basically clean it up. There's some bloodline here, and I'll just cut a little bit of it off. And this is perfectly safe to feed your dogs. So Tita, come here. And don't mind her cone. Her cone was because she accidentally jumped up in a tree and cut her side. So she's constantly reopening it and stuff. But yeah, that was not my fault, that was her fault. But this is for her own good. But once everything's pretty much cleaned up, and you can see it's pretty clean, no bloodline, I'm gonna grab a vacuum seal bag. Let me clean my hands. And I always like to keep my hands clean when I do this kind of stuff, especially whenever I touch the bag, because I don't want there to be fish stuff all on the outside of the bag. So I do my best to do that. Slide these in there. Try not to touch the outside. Slide it all the way down to the bottom. Second piece, all the way down to the bottom. And usually what I'll do is I'll label these beforehand, but I'm probably gonna I'll go over what I'm gonna do when it comes to freezing or not freezing these fish. But go from here, straight to the vacuum seal, set it up here. Make sure it's right in there. This is a normal one you can get from Walmart or really anywhere. Close it, vacuum seal, check it out. You kind of want to make sure you pinch out any areas of air, because air is your worst enemy when you're trying to preserve fish. Once this thing is done, For a second. There it goes. All right, you're gonna undo it, lift it on up, sealed, and this thing is ready to be stored. What I like to do is not freeze all of it immediately. I put a bunch of it in the fridge, hopefully that I can eat it later on. But that's what I'm doing with some of the permit, some of the dolphin, and then worst comes to worst, if I don't eat it in a few days, it's ready to go in the freezer and then I can save it for another time. All right, we have everything packaged up. This is what I'm gonna cook for dinner. And I'm gonna have a secret ingredient. I'm gonna take you guys out here, outside. And this is what we got. We got some rosemary and we got some thyme. The thyme is looking a little sad, but we're gonna take what it can give us, take a couple of stems of these. Let's grab these fresh herbs. And I need to pop these things. I don't know what I'm doing. Give them a good little fresh rinse. And then you wanna just pull the little stems, the little green part, basically all green, pull all the green off of it. Okay. This is the aftermath. This is the leftovers. They go in the trash. And now it's time to get up my favorite knife to do this. This is the Sentoku, I believe. And check it out. You just sit here and just chop. Just make it super fine. Hard to do with one hand, but I'll show you what the end product looks like. I'm gonna grab all of these herbs. I'm tossing them in here with this butter. I should honestly wait for that butter to cook down a little more, but I'm okay with it not. And all I'm doing is, I'm cooking with 2 pans. One thing that holds the fish, and then one thing to cook the sauce. I have 1 stick of butter, half in the cast iron, half in the little skillet thing I have here. And fish though. Fish is super easy, what I'm about to do. You guys are gonna be geeking out on it. All right, here we go. Super special ingredients. Himalayan salt and pepper. That's it. And it's so simple, but so delicious. This cast iron is on medium-high heat, and I'm gonna wait for it to get pretty hot, and it's basically gonna sear the sides of this. I decided to grab a single permit so I can kind of test both of them. I don't know, whenever I was filleting this, the meat kind of seemed a little off. But there's only one way to find out. Let's eat it. But I did the same thing, salt, pepper. Time to go with the cast iron, check it out. See how it's a thick part right here and skinny part right there? I put the skinny towards the outside, so I'll just set it down. Nice and little searedness to it. I have the dolphin. I know that's gonna be good. Usually get pretty consistency with dolphin. Fish on the reef are, you know, potential for some might be better than others. And I don't know, maybe like time of year or something, some taste better than other times of year, I don't know. I've had some really bad permit and I'm a little scared about this one, but fingers crossed it's gonna be good. I know the dolphin is, so that's definitely the backup plan. And then this stuff is simmering, you see it. I'm just cooking it. And then whenever it gets close towards the end, I'm just gonna pour it over this. Well, actually, I'm gonna flip these. Salt and pepper on this side. I'm gonna flip them and then I'm gonna pour the sauce on them. So I'm gonna show you what you're looking for. So whenever I flip these, you'll see it's like a golden brown on the bottom. And cooking at that little bit of a high heat for a long side on the one side, it turns it into that. This one's gonna cook as long as I wish it did. I don't know why. Wait, the change this didn't turn in. But that's what you get. And then now you have the recipe of the rosemary and thyme in the butter. And you want to pour it on it. And the reason you do the rosemary and thyme separate is because that oil just gets into all the butter and it just turns it into some deliciousness. I'm actually going to scrape out some of that because there's some leftover thyme and rosemary in here. And you want to get that little crunch, and they become crunchy. It's like a little crunch added to it. So good, so good. So the test to see if they are done is by pressing into it. So this is definitely done. This is the mahi. And the second side, you don't have to have it as like crunchy as the first side. You just want that initial one. And then this is the other mahi. It's not done all the way. We'll let it cook a little longer. I'm assuming that piece isn't done either. But yeah, that's how you tell. You kind of press into it. If it like pushes straight through, it's done. If it kind of is a little mushy, it's not fully done. So we're gonna wait for these to finish, and we'll taste test them. And we will taste test them once I take them off. All right, I can't take it. Good stuff. Ooh, look how pretty. It looks like a freaking 5-star chef made this. So I'm gonna give it a try. Check it out. While that other stuff is cooking, I couldn't take it. I needed to try it ASAP. What a good spot with the lighting. All right, so it's go time. This is the mahi. I'm gonna definitely try some of the permanent. It's hot. Oh my God. You guys have to try this. It's so good. You have to try this. Do it and comment below, or comment below if you're gonna try it. God, that's so good. I'm gonna pull this permit off and give that a taste test. So the permit cut's pretty easy. Look at that. Doesn't look a little whiter. Doesn't look bad. It almost tastes crabby. It's good though. Very different. Way different than the dolphin. In my opinion, dolphin takes a cake. It's like one of my top fish ever to eat, and I absolutely love Spearo because you can see how beautiful they are in the water, and they're just they play a game with you, but that's what actually makes it a challenge, getting those fish. You guys, I don't know if you noticed, but this whole episode was filled with the DJI Action 5 Osmo Cam. If you enjoyed it, if you thought it was better or worse, do me a favor and make a comment down below. But if you're new to the channel, give it a subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next week for another adventure. Later.